So, how you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Doing well, thriving, vibing, surviving, trying to stay sane.
That's a good thing to be
Yeah,
doing.
I mean, it's been hard, especially being back at home because I was so used to living away from home for so long. Well, like not so long, but like almost a year.
For
And
people
so
who
I
don't
just
don't know, where have you been?
in Guildford studying at ACM. And so I got used to not living in the middle of fields in Lincolnshire. And now I'm back with my family. Everyone's back as well. My sister moved out and everything, and we're all back together. And it's like, it was weird for the first like 2 weeks or so. And now it's kind of normal again. But I do miss friends and miss being creative. I mean, I can be creative here, but it's just harder here because it's like bad memories are here as well. And where I was then, it's like more of a new place with new stuff. And here it's just like, I've always been here. Well, no, I've not always been here, but...
And what about being in this place don't you like?
I don't know, I guess it just kind of like brings back memories of being in like school and scary stuff, like of relationships, of friendships, and like I literally, as soon as I moved back into my house, it was like I took down everything that was on the walls, everything that reminded me of like anything to do with like my past life. I took it down and like put up all my own like paintings and stuff, and had to put colour into the walls because there was no colour anywhere in the room. And like my walls are still grey, but like I had to put up take down anything that like reminded me of like any part of my past like life, because it was just bringing me down, and it was just reminding me of like people I didn't want to be reminded of and times I didn't want to be reminded of, and so I had to just change it all. Yeah.
Was there anything you kept?
Did I keep anything? Some books, but that's about it. Literally all along here, all along like the side of my wall was like pictures of me and my friends and everything. Took all those down, just put on my own paintings. There was like a clock on the
See
wall
you later.
that like an ex had bought me, and I was like, no, get away. Like even down to like my bed sheets that I had on my bed, I was like, this is just, it can't, because I just had to have like a new space. Actually, no, I did keep one thing on my wall. It's a little sign that just says smile and always sing along. That's the only thing that's still on my wall from then, and my mirror, which has like loads of stickers on it, but that has nothing to do with anyone else. So, yeah, I just had to make everything colourful and nothing to do with anyone that I didn't like.
Have you found that you're writing more now you're at home?
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like that's just because I don't have distractions. Because my problem is the fact that I get like so distracted so easily, and because I get such bad like FOMO, I have to be doing everything that everyone else is doing all the time. Otherwise I feel like, oh, everyone hates me, why am I not involved in everything that's going on? Like, but I feel like as bad as this has been and as horrible as it's been, it's given me time with myself so that I just have nothing else to do but just to do music. And I don't have any like distractions. I don't have anyone doing things that I'm not involved in, because everyone's exactly the same. Everyone's like in their house. As selfish as it is, no one's doing anything, so I'm not missing out on anything, which is like a really big thing for me.
What do you usually miss out on?
Nothing, because I'm always doing something. I always try and like be involved in everything that's going on, which is like my worst enemy, because I just can't say no to things as well. People are like, oh yeah, let's go out and do stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, that's fine, I'll do this, and then I'll do music afterwards. But I need to flip it around, because I've kind of told myself now that we're actually allowed to go out and see friends now, I've said to myself, you're not going out and you're seeing your friends unless you do something and then reward yourself with that, which is what I like have started doing and started realising that I have to do, otherwise I just do get way too distracted, way too easily
Drawn in. Yeah, it's your time. I think for me, this whole thing has given me an absolute abundance of time. It's the longest summer holiday, the best summer holiday I never thought I'd have.
Yeah.
And if you are going out, it's generally to exercise or to do a socially distanced hangout.
Exactly.
I've been going cycling a lot with my mates, and it's really easy to keep distant when you're doing that
Yeah.
because you're on a bike. You're not going to want to go near each other.
No,
And
exactly.
I've just gotten mad into cycling.
That's mad.
Which
I
is,
used to cycle loads. I used to cycle all the time, but then the bike that I like to use, my dad sold, and so now I don't anymore. But I do need to get into it. I've done a lot of walking. I've found a lot of cool places. I started doing this thing called. I've done it a few times, but it's really weird. Have you heard of randonauting?
Beg your pardon?
Randonauting.
Randonauting.
Yeah, I really don't know how to describe it, but it's like a quantum number generator generates random coordinates for you to go and walk to, and you set yourself an intent in your brain to like say like find something beautiful or find something out of the ordinary, and somehow in the random universe of numbers it takes you to this place that would have something to do with like your intent. And it's kind of just like, I don't know, it's wanting to prove that randomness is like possible. And so like I'm part of this like subreddit where people go and they like find things, and they're like, my intent was to find something like random, and then it's like, I don't know, like an upside down house or something that they found.
Have you found any upside down houses?
No. No, I've only been a few times, but it's, I don't know, it gives you something to do. It gives you something to go out and like go to like random places you never knew were there. Obviously you have to be careful of like trespassing and stuff, but
Have you found anything
fun.
interesting so far, or met anybody, or
the first one I ever went on, it was like I wanted to find something beautiful or something that like spurs creativity in me, and like it took me to this like random field, but like literally next to the field was just like a staircase just by itself that was just covered in like daisies just all growing up the staircase. So that's quite cool that I found that, but that's about it.
and did it just lead to nothing?
No, it went to like this like tiny house, but like this tiny house that was just abandoned.
Did you go in?
That was like the coolest thing I found. But I keep wanting to go. But I just get scared because everywhere around here is like, obviously it's the middle of nowhere, but it's all owned by like farmers, and then they come out and they'll be like, get off my land, with like a shotgun or something. You get scared. So
Has that ever happened to you?
yeah,
Shotguns and all?
yeah. Well, it used to happen. Well, it used to happen more when I was younger, and I used to go out all the time just into random fields. But yeah, you have to be really careful because you have to make sure that you're on public footpaths. Otherwise, you really do. Like some of these like Lincolnshire farmers are like unhinged. They will just come out and just chase you off their land. Like they do not care.
Classic trope, innit? Get
It
off
can be
my
scary
land.
sometimes. Huh?
Get off my land.
Yeah, literally.
Yes.
I don't know,
You know,
they don't-
it's real.
Yeah.
The stereotype's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's scary. Yeah, they get really defensive. I mean, I can understand if you're like stomping on their onions, but like, we don't do that. We're polite to their land. We're not mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate people stomping on my onions. Metaphorically as well, you know. I don't own onions.
Literally.
Just
always
mental
hate it.
onions. How's your mental health been since lockdown?
Very up and down. It was worse at the start. Yeah. Because obviously, as I was saying at the start, like I fell into this like really dark place because I was coming back here, and just being here was just so frustrating for me because it was like I had left Lincolnshire, moved to Guildford. I was studying. I had the best friends around me. I was like doing what I wanted to do. Like I wasn't at home, and then I came back and everything was like, oh my god. And like I was literally the happiest I'd ever been in my like whole entire life, living there and just doing what I love all the time. And then I came back here and it was like, oh my god, it was all for nothing. Like I've literally gone back to like square one. I was just like back in this like dark hole cave thing. But then I feel like what happened was I kind of looked back on everything I was doing in Guildford and I was like, yeah, it was really, really fun. But I feel like I was just like living this life of like, oh, I'm finally out of home, finally like away from home, doing what I want all the time, like feeling like this free like adult. And then I came back home and I kind of realized, I was like, wow, like have you just like wasted a lot of time? Like obviously I was meeting new friends and doing new stuff and studying and stuff, but I feel like I was doing that but not focusing on like music and stuff like that.
So you
And
were
I came home-
studying music Were you
Yeah,
gone
but,
there
like-
to study a degree in, what's the degree called?
It's music performance,
Music performance.
vocal music performance.
Cool. So you've gone there to study music. You've gone there to further yourself, further your
Yeah.
career, get out of mum and dad's house, be an
Yeah.
independent adult, write the theme tune, sing the theme tune, and you're not doing as much music
Yeah.
as you are now.
Yeah, I kind of realised that I was like, obviously I was studying music, doing it every day in like college or whatever, but I wasn't doing as much like personal music as I went to. Like it was all because I had to do it because it was for college. It was never like, I'm going to just sit in my room and write songs tonight. And I realised how much of that I stopped doing because I was just so like enthralled with the fact that I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to go out and do stuff all the time and just enjoy not living at home. And then I came home and I was like, oh, I was so happy there. But then I feel like being at home has kind of given me time to be alone with my thoughts, as bad as they like are, and like as bad as my mental health was at the beginning of lockdown. Like it's gotten better now because I've gotten used to it. Like it's fine. Like I'm here now, but I feel like it's given me a chance to kind of fall back in love with music, I guess. Not that I fell out of love with it, but I just stopped doing it as much as I should, and I didn't write as much as I should, and I just wasn't doing it. And I kind of, because I've had a chance to do it loads, I've like, wow, I've missed doing this like so much.
Totally.
And realised like how much time I've like wasted. Not wasted, but like I could have been writing music instead of, I don't know,
Hanging out.
messing around. Yeah, hanging out.
The thing
basically.
is, I did a fair bit of hanging out and getting drunk and taking drugs and staying up all night and just meeting people. You're in a totally new environment. Like I went from being in Essex with a very, very small music scene that's not particularly like diverse in style or genre, and generally, I don't know, where I'm from, there's a lot of people that have gone into music. Like Sam Smith went to school in Bishop Stortford, where I went to school in. Ed Druitt, a songwriter who's written for One Direction, The Wanted, and he lives just down the road. Who else? I think the guitarist from Iron Maiden lives in Silverworth.
Mad.
And who else? There's a few people from around here, and I think a lot of that is because it's quite a middle class, affluent area that's 30 minutes from London. And so growing up in my head, it was always the goal of move out and go to London because that's where the cool music's happening. That's where it's at. That's where all the venues are, all the labels, all the industry. That's where it's going to be it. So the thing of moving out of here was not only to go and do that. It was like, I've got my own room. I'm paying, I'm getting a massive loan from the government to do this, and some help once the money ran out. I had to come running back for help for money because I was an idiot financially then.
Yeah.
Still am somewhat now, but getting better. And I think in the last podcast we had a right old bitch about our university course, but I've thought since then about all the positive things that have come from it, and independence. You're kind of chucked into this environment with loads of strangers that are around your age of similar interest. We're in university halls, so the building was essentially a bit like a prison. It's like the most boring and depressing looking building ever, but we brought so much life to it and tried to inject as much fun community, and like we had like Christmas dinners in our hall's kitchen. The kitchen was horrendous. It had that kind of fluorescent lighting that gives you a headache and makes everyone look horrendous and ill. But we turned off all that lighting, put a thing over the sensor that turns the lights on and off, and set up candles, Christmas tree, roast dinner, and on our long table we made a little Christmas tree and we decorated with cutouts from the Gay Times as well. It was great. So
that
good.
Sounds like so much fun.
And that has nothing to do with university education. That's like just, it's like a byproduct in a way. It's not necessarily advertised to you when you look at a prospectus that you're going to go to uni and you're going to have a fun Christmas dinner with a bunch of people that you only knew a couple months ago. And you're going to have this home away from home where you can grow and hopefully become a better person.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what it was for me, because obviously this is even like uni. This is just my like college, like, because I did a year of sixth form and dropped out because it was horrendous and disgraceful. And so I'm not even like in uni. It's just a like diploma thing, because I just wanted to leave and do like a uni experience, I guess, which I have done. But I don't know, it's fun, it's good, but like I feel like I need to focus more on what's really happening. But then I guess it is actually just the experience in the end, isn't it?
It's all of it. It's really all of it. I mean, how old are you?
17. 18
You're 17.
in July.
18 in July. So, how would you move out of the house at age 17 and be totally independent?
I don't know. I just did it.
Full-time job, isn't it? It would be...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't full-time. Like, literally, the craziest thing is that my savings from since I was a baby is paying for all of this. Like, I don't get student loan because I'm not 18. I'm not in further education. I'm only in, like... I'm not in higher education. I'm only in further education, so I don't get a student loan. So, like... Another thing that I need to realise is the fact that I'm actually just paying for all of this with all the money I've saved up from ever since I was a baby. And this is what I'm paying for. I'm paying for, to live in a house next year with, like, 3 of my best friends. Like, I've just been paying to live in the accommodation for a year, like, paying for my food and stuff. Obviously, my parents help and stuff. But, like, it's not like I'm just, like, getting a loan and, like, paying it off. Like,
is there any sort of government
do.
grant for... for moving away when you're 17 to go to college?
No. There's no kind of thing that you can get. Like, we tried everything. We tried to get, like, grants and stuff, but you don't get anything. I'm just thankful that my parents are like, let me do it. And
they support you, and they're very, very supportive.
Yeah,
from
literally,
what
I'm
I've
like
seen.
the most supportive parents ever.
Yeah, biggest fans.
Yeah, I love it. But I feel bad because sometimes I feel like I take it for granted, but because there are people in the world who don't get opportunities like that and don't have parents that are as supportive and kind of say to them like, oh yeah, you can like do music, but then they don't really mean it. They just kind of want them to go off and become like a, I don't know, doctor or something. And I know there are people that don't get the opportunity to like follow what they actually want to do like I do, and I feel like sometimes I take that for granted, which I shouldn't.
Do you ever find yourself feeling pissed off that things aren't going well and then go, hang on a minute, I'm actually very well looked after here?
Yeah, literally. All the time. It's like, I don't know, I sit there and I'm like, oh, why am I not like, I don't know, doing my music all the time and stuff? Well, no one's stopping that except me. Like, my parents are literally backing me 110%. I fall out with my sister all the time because of it, because she's like, because you've been recording and writing music ever since you were 14 and you've not released anything. It's just because sometimes people don't understand that, like, it's like a journey and you can't just like release every single song that you make. Like, that's the only problem I have.
On the point of releasing every single song you make, why can't you release every single song you make?
Well, you can, but like, I know for a fact that if I had released the songs that I had written and recorded in Nashville when I was 14, I'd look at them now and be like, what the hell? And then I'd be like, do I really want that? I know it's like growing and like growing yourself every single step and every single song that you make is like growth. But like, I feel like if I'd released that then, it would have completely pigeonholed me into like one single thing, and I don't think I ever would have. What was that
thing? How do you describe that? How do you describe the music you were making in Nashville at 14, which is quite a rare thing to be? It's rare for a 14-year-old from England to be in Nashville and have made records. How did that happen? Just start off, how did that happen in the first place?
Well, obviously I was on The Voice Kids when I was 14. That kind of aired, whatever. And then an old friend of my dad's kind of reached out, who used to work with him or something, but he now ran like a radio station in Nashville or something. And reached out to him and was like, oh, I've just seen Tabi on The Voice, really cool, if you guys could come over and like meet some people who I know, because obviously he knew loads of like marketing people and like songwriters and just people in the music industry basically. So me and my dad flew over to Nashville and just had like loads of meetings with people, not to be like, oh yeah, let's sign Tabi, or oh yeah, let's write with Tabi, literally just to talk to them and be like, what's the music industry all about? How is it like going? Because obviously if you're like talking to people who are actually involved in it, then you're going to get like the best kind of people. Obviously the people who I was talking to were like heavily involved in the country music industry more than anything. Like you're going to get that going to Nashville, but it's still like the music industry. So I had people who like work with like Dolly Parton and stuff like that, just talking to me about what they had experienced and stuff. I was like, this is cool. And on our last day there, or like one of our last days, we went to this guy's house who was like a songwriter called Keith Follacy, and he met me, was like, sing some songs for me, like blah blah blah. And then he was like, I'd love for you to like come back and write with us and make some records with us. And I was like, yeah, that'd be so cool, I'm so down. And so I ended up coming back, and then I was there. I've been there like 3 times, and they've been here like once. We've written loads of songs and stuff, but like in between, like at that time of me being there and recording with them and stuff, I was in like a really, really toxic relationship, and I was like doing it, but at the same time when I was recording it, it was like I was getting all this like horrible like mental abuse from this person, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you're never gonna make it, blah blah blah, this is so bad, why do you want to be in the spotlight ever? And then I like was like, I don't want to do it anymore. It was really weird, and so I like gave up. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I can't do music anymore. I told all the Nashville people, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry, music just isn't for me. Obviously, this isn't how I really felt. It was just this person making me feel these things. And then time went on. I was still in that relationship for like, I don't know, 8 months after that, and then got out of that, thankfully. And then obviously just that music was all I wanted to do at that point, because it was kind of like a, I don't know, not like revenge, but it was like, you stopped me from doing this for so long, like I'm never gonna let anyone stop me from doing this ever again. And so I got back in touch with them, we did some more songs together, and yeah, and then I started working with you after that, and some other people. Because I stopped, I mean, I wanted to work with them more, but obviously it's very difficult having to fly back and forth from to Nashville to here, like all the time. So I was like, I want to like work with more like UK based people, so it's just easier. And like I feel like there's such a different sound with like UK and American producers, like so different. Like the stuff I was making there was very like cheesy, like teen pop. I wouldn't say cheesy, but it was just very like poppy. And I listen to it now and I'm like, oh yeah, these are good songs, like they do well, but they're not like me. And I wrote them in a time in my life where I was just like kind of faking this like happiness that was like, oh yeah, this is great, when really every single night I was like going home and like getting phone calls from this person that was like, what are you doing, why weren't you talking to me today, like you were literally just ignoring me all day, blah 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 blah. Oh, I'm just holding like everything and anything they could against me at any point in time. Yeah, and people love the songs, like people who I've played them to absolutely love them, but I feel like if I release them now, I'd just be releasing them for the fact of like releasing them,
like old
and that's
time's
what everyone
sake. The fact that you've made
exactly.
it.
Yeah, just, and like they're great, and some of the songs I wrote with them are getting like given to other people to make.
I mean, that's
like,
a good, that's a beneficial thing that can come from writing something that you then go, this isn't me, or I don't want it. It can still be a stand-up song and a good story for someone else.
Exactly, and that was, yeah, like they kind of contacted me and were like, listen, we're working with this like Canadian pop artist or something, and they were
Justin
like, can
Bieber,
we
was it?
send them these songs to give it a go? And I was like, yeah, go for it, that's fine. Like I still love the songs, and just someone else might be able to give them new life and put them in a new way that I wasn't able to.
I think you've got a really healthy attitude to songwriting, especially for your age as well, and to have that experience at such a young age of going over there and meeting all these people and doing that, and just everything that you've sort of gone through in that respect. There's people that I met at uni that were, and artists that I've worked with, and artists that I've worked with since, that are much older than you and actually much more, should have had more, maybe their age, you'd think they have more experience and a bit more maturity about it, who are very precious about stuff that they've written. And to me, it's fine to be careful about what you write and what you release, but I think that the music is going to be better if you write more songs. If you've been prolific and written as many songs as you can, you're going to have you're probably going to get you can have a wider selection of stuff to choose from.
Yeah.
And you know, if there's something that's lying around, if there's a song that's like, I've so many songs just lying around on hard drives that really could do with someone taking them on, or a track, or redoing it, you know, and just that I've in the past been guilty of the thing of holding on to an idea because it's my idea.
Yeah.
But it's not my idea. I didn't really, it's something I've come up with.
Yeah.
But the inspiration, and you know, I'm generally copying something that I've heard that I like, or taking three things that I like, mash it together, and it might sound new, or sometimes it just sounds like it's obvious where the origins are.
Yeah.
You said about the fake popness to it.
Yeah, I mean, probably like the fake pop thing is like a bad way of putting it, but it's like,
I think it sounds like honest. You're being polite.
yeah. I mean, pop music is great. It's great. Like, thing is, pop is so broad now. Like, it's so broad. But if you like think of like, I don't know, it's just what like cheesy pop. But it wasn't like, there were a couple that were like cheesy, but there were a few that were like actually really, really good. Just like songs, like pop songs. But there was nothing like unique. There was nothing that would be like, oh, if you heard this, you would be like, that's definitely Tabi singing that. Like, there was nothing that was going to say that. It was just, oh, it's just another
generic
song on the radio. Do you know what I mean?
It sounds acceptable.
Exactly. Like, it's
not exceptional.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a good song to listen to, but you wouldn't be able to like pick it out of 100 songs and be like, that's the one that Tabi sung. And also my vocals on them obviously sound so weird because I'm 14. So I sound so young. Listening back to them now, I'm like, oh my God, my voice has like changed so much. And I always wonder like, oh, well, maybe if I took one of those songs and like put my vocals now on it and maybe put some more like cool things in it that were a bit more like me, maybe you could like revive them. But that's something that I'm willing to revisit at some point in time. Just, yeah.
Bring them back from the dead.
Exactly.
Zombie songs.
Yeah.
You should call the album Zombie Songs.
Zombie songs, that would be mad. Songs.
But here's the thing, what you could do is, if they are songs that you think should be out in the world and you don't want to waste the work, you might... I remember this sort of battle in my head recently with my own album, where I think I've been guilty with some of them of trying to write that pop song and not try and say, and not try and write that Max song. Yeah. It's talking about, it's a shong, it's a phony, it's listening to Spotify and then going, how do I make something that gets a million plays? Yeah. And that fundamentally is the thing that's wrong with the song, is that I'm trying to be popular, when we all know that when you try to be popular, you're being a try-hard, and then no one likes you. It's so harsh, but it's so true. And the people who actually have meaningful relationships are generally being themselves.
Exactly. And that's like, I felt that's something that I've also struggled with, but like I've come over it like in the last like a year and a half, I've kind of come over that like part of me. And I was always like trying really hard to like, not necessarily just with like music, but just with everything. I was like trying really hard to like look cool or like dress cool or like, I don't know, wear like the most like up and coming things, and like, but then I look back at it now and I'm like, you were a bit weird, which is fine. I love being weird. Like, and that's what I've kind of like embraced now. I've kind of let go of trying to be this thing that that everyone's gonna like be in love with, and now I'm like the happiest I've ever been because I just am wearing what I want, doing all, making the music that I want, like, and I just what I care about people, but the only like opinion I really care about above everyone else's is my own, which is great because but then when it is that way, I'm like also fighting with like fighting with my perfectionist side as well. So like I'm like, this is great, everything's fine, and then my perfectionist side is like, no, it could be better still, which is great because it means that I'm constantly trying to improve myself, but then it never gets to an end point where I'm like, this is amazing, because I'm always just like, it could still be better.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, it's knowing that whatever you make is going to be flawed, especially to you who's made it. You're gonna look at your creation and go, it's beautiful and wretched in equal parts. Have you read Frankenstein or seen the film or familiar with the story of
I'm
Victor
familiar with the story of,
Frankenstein?
I think I've seen it in a stage production maybe when I was like 13.
Okay, so for anyone who hasn't seen it, Victor Frankenstein is the scientist, not the monster, not the guy with the square head and the bolts coming out.
Yeah.
So Victor Frankenstein essentially takes himself as far away from his quiet family life, far away from the girl that loves him, far away from normal society, deeper into his alchemy. He's combining elements together to try and make life. He's doing this science experiment. So he's had to push and sacrifice everything that essentially made him probably this quite pleasant, young, intelligent man with a community around him. He's pushed that away, and he's now robbing graves, digging up corpses, stitching them together, trying to reanimate them using electricity and various scientific methods which aren't revealed in the Mary Shelley novel. But I remember having this idea of the Frankensteins, that I was becoming this Victor Frankenstein character and pushing away family, girlfriend, friends, health, diet, exercise, spirituality, everything that actually would really replenish me and really keep me in good spirits, and was spending horrendous hours in the studios. When I was at university, this isn't even that bad compared to other stuff that I've done, but the studios would open at 10, I think 9 in the morning, 9 or 10 in the morning, and then it'd close at 10, and I'd be there from 10 till 10. Nip out the studio for a bit of air and to get a sandwich from the shop. And it's underground. This was a windowless subterranean. It literally was subterranean. And the studios were well equipped in terms of equipment and audio. Sounded good gear. But there was no windows. It was that horrible fluorescent strip lighting. I used to actually bring fairy lights in there once I realised that I could do that. And the thought came to me that I can actually bring one little thing to make this feel more like a home than a lab where I'm just reanimating these musical corpses into trying to make my Franken song that's gonna take over the world.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You must have been so pale.
Shit. I've always been pale.
Yeah.
But I mean, pale student in a subterranean world trying to make a Franken song, and I was so depressed doing that. Very depressed doing that. And the results of that music was horrendous. It was crap.
Yeah, because I feel like as much as you like, I could just sit here in my room all day and like write music, which is basically what I was doing during lockdown, which is fine. But like, as much as I sit anywhere and just like write, I feel like nothing good is going to come out of it unless I do something between those times, because if I'm not, I get like most of my inspiration from like doing things and experiences as most people do, and I feel like if I did that I would just cry a lot. When I'm not with people, when I'm not doing stuff, I do just feel like I'm missing out. Even if nothing is going on, I feel like, oh, I'm not doing something with somebody, so I'm missing out on something, and I'm definitely just not. And like, it's that's like my downfall, definitely 100%. But I can understand. I don't think I could be in a studio for that long every single day. I think I would go crazy.
Yeah, it does. It sends you absolutely stir crazy.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I would.
I'm well into breaks, having taken breaks these days, and I think also if I'm working, it's easier for me to remember to take breaks when I'm with someone, because there's that to and fro, and you might be working on something, and then in my head I might literally, like when we're writing back in the Matrix, I'd be sat working on something, it might be not quite getting there, and then I might turn to you and see like either bored or dull or disinterested or trying to find inspiration face, and then we just go, who are we kidding, let's just go for a walk, put it down, because that was that room did have windows but no natural light, so it felt nat, and that was all my own, a mixture of stuff I'd borrowed and my own equipment, and I had my candles and fake plants and all stuff to try and make it into a homely place that you'd want to come and hang out and tell stories and be creative.
And I feel like one of the best like 2 days that we had like writing was when we like wrote Wonderland, and we were just in the it was Wonderland. We were just in the studio trying to write, and then it was just like, oh, this isn't working, let's go on a walk. And then literally for like the next 2 days we were just sat in the middle of that like field common thing, just like writing that song. We were like barely in the studio, apart from we had to like track vocals and stuff, and I think that was one of like the best like actual like creative writing things, because it just felt so like, I feel like when you're in a room, as nice as it is when you're in like a studio, I feel like it can feel very like, okay, yeah, we're getting this like job done, which is it, that's what it is. It kind of like it feels like it's being like pushed more, whereas like I feel like when you're outside doing something like I always write outside, I always like, I don't know, walk to a river with my guitar and just like write. But I feel like when you're writing outside, there's less like pressure, and it's more just like a natural thing that's like happening like as things come and flow, and it's more like, oh yeah, here's just a random idea because I saw a ladybird on the floor, it didn't work, but we tried it out, do you know what I mean? But
yeah, I find the pressure of a studio can often really stifle vibe.
100%.
Vibe is like 90% what you need in a session, 10% technicality and focus, but 90% just vibes. Yeah, that's like a huge thing. But I think that's another reason why I changed everything in my room, because I just needed the vibes, to be honest. I started painting like 8 months ago, and it's just like I put them everywhere now, because I just, anything that I paint just goes straight on my wall, because I just like feel like that's come from somewhere, so it's going to inspire something like musically in me as well. And it's, I don't know, a nice escape a lot of the time. That's kind of like I use like music as my escape, but then when I need to escape from music I paint stuff all the time. When you need to escape the music.
Yeah.
I think trying to have your brain as much out of the way as possible seems to be the thing that makes my music better. Don't think about the results.
Yeah, I definitely, yeah. I don't even know what I think about when I write. I literally just, I just do it, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've started using GarageBand, which is great. But I just usually write just with my guitar and stuff. But I do get in my head a lot like that. So I feel like you said, like disconnecting from my brain is probably a good thing to do. And just disconnecting from everything in general. Like I don't know the last time, like literally the last like 2 weeks or so, I've had so much time where I've literally just been like, all right, literally leave your phone in your room for like a whole day and just do anything except that. Like yesterday, I literally went on my phone like once or twice, I think, and I just like spent hours and hours just doing things that weren't on a screen or weren't like forced in any way. Painting a picture, writing a song, like literally just doing anything, but without having that like distraction of like your phone vibrating always there.
What about your phone? What do you end up looking at?
Literally anything. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and I'll just find things to do because I get so distracted so easily because I'm like, oh, that's another fun, exciting thing to do because it's like ever changing. You're constantly seeing different things, like
That little
constantly
dopamine hit.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
little red notification and the buzz.
Exactly. Constantly getting like YouTube videos, like new YouTube video, new video on Instagram, new like TikTok, whatever, like all the time. And then I look at my screen time and I'm like, what is TikTok? It's like this app that you just make like little short videos on.
Did you ever have Vine?
Yeah, I did.
What's the difference between TikTok and Vine?
Huh?
What's the difference?
Vine's like, there really is no difference, I guess, but Vine was more like, this is a video of me 6 seconds just doing something really random with my own voice. TikTok's more like, here's a video with an audio behind it.
Yeah.
And it can be like 15 seconds or it can be like 60 seconds or like anywhere between. But it's really good for the music industry right now because it's like...
It's like a sync, isn't it? Your song is then... There's songs that I've only heard because of the TikTok. And I don't even have TikTok. I have Instagram. And the memes, many meme pages that I follow will come up with a TikTok and there'll be a song and I'll start hearing a song. One song, let me look it up. It's a song called Roses that was, I think, was a TikTok and it's like a remix. Yeah, and I remember hearing that hook. Iman Beck remix of Roses with St. John. I think, yeah. And I heard that and thought, for a while I was thinking, I really like this. I actually like that. And then ended up looking up a tutorial of how to make the bass sound in Serum, the synthesizer.
Yeah.
And so I've now got my Roses bass. And I think that's probably the only productive thing that's happened from me watching the recycled TikToks on Instagram.
Yeah, it's mad. I'm on it because I want to like build a following of some kind. Like from the beginning of lockdown to now, I've gained like 9,000 followers on TikTok. I have like 12.6 thousand followers on TikTok, and it's crazy because like TikTok followers are so different to like Instagram followers. And so like if all of my TikTok followers follow me on Instagram, I'd be like, great, I'm great, like it's so cool.
How many followers have you got on Instagram?
Like 2,000 something, I think.
And you've been on that for obviously way longer.
Yeah, I've been on Instagram since
You've been way more active on TikTok then. Have you been a very prolific TikToker?
Yeah. Like, because, I don't know, I feel it's like you always get like that chance of like more people seeing your TikToks. It's like, I just post like singing videos on there so that people follow me for singing. And it just like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people on there post just like random stuff, which is fine. It is just like a random app and it is just full of random videos. But having like a following on there is like really, really good because I have 12,000 people that follow me, but only like 5,000 of them are actually properly like interactive. But then I know that because of that I can then get people to listen to my music from TikTok, from Instagram, from Facebook, from everything.
Do you have people on that who are pretty die-hard, who are like asking for music from you?
Yeah,
asking for releases and stuff?
All the time. Like I always go live on there like some evenings, and they're always just like, oh, play some of your original stuff, play some of your original songs, and they're like, you need to come out, we need to bring out music, like what's your Spotify? Always asking me, and I'm just like, soon I promise.
Yeah, just teasing. Oh, that's cool. I think it's cool that you can do that, because this direct line you have to your audience, I think even 5 years ago, or maybe a bit more, all the Nashville dudes that you would have hung out with, it's like they would have had to spend a lot of money to launch an artist in terms of PR, trying to get you in all these magazines and newspapers and all the traditional media establishment. But now, because you literally can open up your iPhone and sing a song straight to your audience, you've got a direct main line to the people that want to hear what you're doing, and the people that are ultimately going to be supporting your career, going to your gigs, buying your music, listening to your stuff, streaming.
Yeah, and another thing that's really good with it is it's like, not only am I able to just put across like my singing and stuff, because it's so easy to literally just pick up my phone and just take a video of myself. It's like not only do they follow me for like my singing, they also follow me for like my like vibe or like my style or whatever, just for me as like a person. Whereas I feel like on Instagram posts are a lot more like, okay, I've put work into this, like I've edited this so it looks nice. It's very like, because the people who follow you on Instagram are more like, I know you as a person. Whereas on TikTok, they could literally just see me come up on their feed and just be like, oh, this person's cool, follow, swipe to the next person. Oh, this person's cool, follow. That's literally what it is. And then obviously, it's a lot less personal, but then it's a lot less personal in as much as the people who look at you don't know you, but it's a lot more personal in as much as I can literally just be myself on there and just not care, because it's not like I'm ever going to meet any of these people in my life. They're just seeing me for who I am.
They'll come to your gig. Probably likely that they'll come to your gig if they're following you and interacting.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. No, I think you've got a very healthy relationship with it, and you're using it for your advantage. I mean, do you feel like you waste time scrolling, looking through TikToks that it's just like,
Yeah, I have less so now. Like, I was really, really bad at it. I used to literally just like lay in my bed and just scroll, and then look up and like an hour's gone by and I'm like, what the hell have I been watching? Like, you can see on TikTok, you can see like your like cache of how many TikToks you've watched over like a certain period of time.
Oh no.
And I like,
what's your weekly, how many hours of TikTok have you viewed in the last week?
Oh, well, okay, on my...
Give us some stats.
My screen time. Oh, God. How do I even look at this?
Or just whatever meaningful stats
so,
you have access to.
on Wednesday, June 10th, I was on TikTok for 6 hours and 8 minutes.
My God.
Yeah. And most of that is at like the early hours of the morning, when I'm just like 4 o'clock in the morning, when I've like had a long ass day and just laying in my bed not sleeping, because
it's pretty much TV then, isn't it? It's the kind of
exactly.
It's the equivalent of sitting on the sofa and mindlessly watching some other TV show, like hanging out and watching a series or something.
Yeah, but also I'm
not sure it fundamentally has the same. If you watch a story, it's I don't know, maybe whenever I go to see a film, and a really good film that I really get into, when I'm in the cinema, I strut out of that cinema because I've seen this awesome thing and I've become the character, I've become the hero by watching it. And the experience of that, we're all in the cinema together, and it's a finite experience, no longer than 3 hours really, unless you're watching like some kind of Lord of the Rings marathon. But I find I come out of that cinema, or if I watch film with my friends or watch a film that I really love on my own, I come out of that going,
yeah, well, it's a lot more rewarding, isn't it? It's like,
well, it's like a what is it? It's not 6 hours of TikTok, is it?
No, it's not. But then again, 6 hours sounds really bad, but like 2 hours, that could be like me on live stream.
Okay, so technically it's 4 hours consumption.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Which still isn't great. But
I don't know. I think if you're putting out good content that people like, if you put out healthy content, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's literally always just me either just singing in my room or just like vibing in my room or just dancing or something. Like I started this thing which I did not expect to get the like reaction that it did, and I was like, oh, comment your name on this video and I'll write a little song for you and I'll post it. Posted it, oh, I got like 500 comments or something, and now like a week later it's on 17,000 comments of all these like little girls being like, my name's Ellie, can you please write me a song, I love horses. And I'm just like, and now I feel like all these little kids are going to come for me being like, you've not written me a song yet, please write me a song. And I'm like,
maybe
I
you
can't
could
make
write a song for all of them,
videos.
or have that is a lot. That is really you have really put yourself in it there.
Yeah, it's, I don't know how many views, like I don't know, 150,000 views or something. And I was literally just expecting, because at that time when I posted that I probably only had like 8,000 followers, and now I've got 12,000, and I posted it like a week and a half ago.
Cool. Wow, I totally thought TikTok was just for Jason Derulo to
Jason Derulo on
do
TikTok,
stupid shit on. Does he sing on it as well?
No, he literally just acts like
Just
an
does
idiot.
comedy.
Yeah.
Is that because people like him more as a comedian nowadays than a singer?
I wouldn't call him a comedian, but yeah.
That's what he's
They just
doing.
think
It's
it's
comedy, isn't it? It's him doing like little magic tricks and stuff. Funny things and little skits. That's quite a Vine. I think he's kind of TikToking like a Viner.
Oh yeah, there's so many different sides. There's loads of like, TikTok has become like quite a funny thing, whereas like people just post like short videos of people just doing stupid shit as well, which is like funny. But like there's different like sides of TikTok now that so many people use it because of lockdown, because so many people downloaded it in lockdown because they're just bored. There's so many sides of TikTok. So there's like straight TikTok, which is like the dancers and stuff. And then there's like alt TikTok, which is like more kind of like quote unquote cool people, like on like skateboards or singing or whatever. And then there's like cursed TikTok, which is like horribly like edited videos of like people
TikTok.
who look so weird and like really horrible audios.
Oh, is it like mashed up fake? Like, have you seen the Michael Rosen? Me and Declan love Michael Rosen memes of him going nice,
Yeah.
but his face.
Yeah,
goes,
except so much worse. Like with like you know when people make memes and they're like super saturated and like
Yeah,
something
and
like
it's
that.
just
It's like that in like video form.
loud, distorted, like
Yeah, and then there's like witch talk, which is all the witches like showing like spells and stuff.
witches. There's
But you don't
witches on Witch
choose what
Talk?
side you're on. The algorithm chooses what side you're on for you.
Hold up. Witches. Talk to me about the TikTok witches.
Yeah, witch talk. It's like just witches come on there and be like, this is how today I'm gonna make like moon water or make like a spell. But I've been on like every single side of TikTok, so I know every single place. But like
Is it,
people
like,
on straight
cute
TikTok
witches?
don't know
It's
that
not-
we exist.
It's not.
Huh?
It's not voodoo.
No.
Alright.
Just like nice spells. But I think they are casting voodoo on a lot of like people nowadays because of everything bad that's going on. So
They're actually
Like-
doing voodoo.
huh?
Who's doing voodoo on TikTok?
Not necessarily voodoo, but like spells, like revenge spells and stuff like that, where they like, I don't know, put stuff together and then like light it on fire and then put someone's name in it and then, I don't know, something bad happens to them.
Wow.
Or you can have like
So
love
there's a-
spells that give people like nice stuff.
But essentially, TikTok has given a platform for occultist witches to perform
Yeah.
spells via the internet.
It's literally given a platform for everyone to do everything. There's so many people on it. So many people
Is there
on it.
what's the censorship on TikTok?
It's like really good. Like I
No
literally
nipples.
people get banned for wearing like bad stuff, but like there's no like film over like on, you know how on Instagram where you have to tap to see like an image that's like blurred from Instagram. There's nothing like that on TikTok, but it's like instantly if you post something, it will automatically put it under review and then take it down like straight away. Like you don't ever see anything like bad on there, because obviously it also has a very young audience as well.
Because Instagram there's some stuff I see on Instagram that is pretty much pornography,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like then it links to an OnlyFans account, which is
Exactly.
a bit of a meme at the minute.
Yeah, it's such a meme, especially because of lockdown.
So
Everyone's
TikTok is
just-
more of an innocent.
Yeah, it's so much
Yeah.
more innocent. Like, I mean, it's annoying because
I
they're
think it's
very
just
like.
the audience is younger, and then in my head, I think of Instagram as being a bit more mature than TikTok.
Exactly, yeah, which it is. Like, TikTok's very much like a younger person's thing. There's like loads of just young people on there. I feel like some of the stuff that gets posted shouldn't be posted. But that's just when people come on and talk about like drugs and stuff. But those videos are only going to get put on people's For You page who like videos like that. But the only annoying thing is like, I don't know, 14-year-old boys can get away with like dancing seductively with like no shirt on. And then like someone like me, if I was to like try and just post a TikTok of me like talking or something and I was wearing like a crop top or something, they'd be like, nope, sorry, take that down. But I guess they can't. Like, I know people who have been banned from live stream because they've literally just been wearing like a crop top on like live stream, and TikTok's been like, that's inappropriate. But apart from that, it's good.
This is
but that's
something
kind of
that
hard to moderate.
It seems to be. This has been a perpetual problem in the history of the music industry, of trying to sexualize people really young, and it seems that it's like exacerbated on a personal level with the whole TikTok Insta thing. Because if you do put a picture of you in a crop top on Instagram, we'll probably get more likes than a picture of you. I don't know. But there's going to be a lot of people, the pervy people essentially, on these apps who are just out there perving.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a lot like that. And I feel like that's another reason why TikTok is very like on top of it, because there's definitely some like creepy old men on that app just looking for like girls. But it's so good. Like, you don't see anything, or I don't anyway. I don't see anything like out of the ordinary. And it's like so amazing how so many people can like come together and like, so when all like the stuff happened in America with like George Floyd and everything, for like a whole week or more, my whole For You page, which is like where your like recommended videos are, which is what you first come to when you open TikTok, was just flooded with like Black Lives Matter posts, and it's like informing people, and people sharing these videos for like the algorithm so that everyone had them. And it was like for a week straight. So that's like really good how one app can literally, because you're not just seeing the people you follow, you're seeing people who are like recommended for you, people who you think you would like enjoy their content. I didn't see one video that wasn't related to it in some way, shape or form for like a whole week. It was just that. And it was amazing how so many people can like just post something using a hashtag, and then everyone's whole like For You page is just full of stuff like that.
Totally flooded with the same message, or even just the same subject matter.
It's mad. It is mad.
I guess I've recently gotten rid of Instagram and Facebook. Not totally gotten rid of them, I haven't deleted them, but I've deactivated Facebook and deleted Facebook off my phone, and I only log in to check DMs every now and then. I'm looking to get my friend Abe from the last podcast, him and his girlfriend, to manage my social media and post for me. So I just generate content such as this video and this podcast, send it over to them, they can put it on the social media, upload it to the sites, and then I can just have a very distanced interaction with it, because I found that I've wasted so much time flicking through Instagram, Facebook. I've never really been into Twitter very much, but
no, I only got it recently just to see what
I don't really care much for Twitter, to be honest. I've got one, but I've used it very occasionally and not really been that into it. I love YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos, like long lectures and interviews, Joe Rogan podcast.
I love it.
Yeah, everyone does. It's so sick. And I think that long form discussion, you really get to the bottom of something, and you get to say so much more, because I mean, essentially, if you're doing, have you done any other podcasts or long stuff online?
I've never done this before.
You're kind of covering all ground then, really, because you've got TikTok, which is this long, and you've got podcasts, which is like, this is getting over an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
And people can decide how deep they actually want to go in terms of what it is you have to offer and what you're thinking about.
Yeah, I feel like in that sense you just do get a lot more out of it. Like, you can so easily just be like, oh, I watched this really cool TikTok the other day of this girl dancing to this cool song. But then it's so much better to be like, not necessarily better, but it's a lot more interesting, and you get a lot more out of being like, oh, I listened to this like hour and a half long podcast, or I watched this cool documentary or something like that. Like, I love watching documentaries. That's like my thing. I've never like, I only listen to podcasts that have like video to them, because I just can't, unless I'm like in a car, I can't just like listen to them. I find it really difficult, because like my brain goes other places.
Do you not listen? I find that I listen if I'm on public transport, or if I'm out walking, or going to bed. I don't think I've gone to sleep in the last 5 years without listening to something.
Yeah.
I generally fall asleep to a podcast or an audiobook or a long form lecture type thing.
I mean,
I used to listen to Radio 4 as a kid. I think that's probably not a totally unique experience of listening to something kind of, it would always be kind of mumbling along and talking like this. I found it quite therapeutic, especially, I don't know if you've heard this, but the shipping forecast. You familiar with that? It would come on at 3 a.m. roughly, I think. And it was for boats that are sailing around the UK, and they tell you the weather that's at various weather stations, and it's one of the most lovely things. And it's really weird. It doesn't make any sense. And I imagine the majority of people that listen to Radio 4 at 3 in the morning, maybe, I don't know, is it only sailors listening to Radio 4 at 3 in the morning at that moment?
Probably.
Because I'd always listen to it and really love it. Because they would go, it's stuff like Lundy Farside moving 3 quarterly to the highest Fluflabendu, 360 through the Fine, North Sea 123 12224 moving softwardly westward.
Oh my god!
It goes,
I love that. I'll have to listen.
It is 4 a.m. and it's just audio heroin.
Oh my god! I need to listen to that. No, I've started listening to like meditation before I go to bed, like Headspace. But that's like the first. I mean, I started listening to it at the beginning of lockdown. Now I can't go to sleep without it. I like try, and I have this like old man listening. He's like, "Welcome back to Rainy Day Antiques," and just like talks me to sleep, and it's great. But actually, just like listening.
Is that in the Headspace app?
Huh?
Is that in the Headspace app?
Yeah,
I think I stumbled across. I've got Headspace, and I think I came across that little antiques. What is it?
It's just. I don't know. I don't think I've ever actually gotten far enough to hear what he talks about. But he's like,
how does it start?
Huh?
How does it start?
He just says, "Hello, welcome back to Rainy Day Antiques. It's nice to see you again." And then he's like, "Before we get started, let's wind down," and then just like talks you through breathing and stuff. And then I guess it goes on to a story, but I don't think I've ever got that far without being like asleep already, because it just puts me to sleep so quickly. Even just his voice, like it's something about just the voice that it just makes my body go, and then just like fall asleep. It's so weird. But I have started watching. Well, I can't watch. I've tried to watch it, but I can't watch more than one episode a day because I just can't. I think I told you about it. It's Midnight Gospel on Netflix.
Oh, you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, it's I only just realised that it's actually a podcast that they have done that is put to this really like weird, trippy animation, and it's actually amazing. I watched the first episode again last night because I watched it on a Netflix party with a friend, and I wanted to rewatch it. And it's the whole like basically what it is this guy who owns like an unlicensed like interdimensional like transporter thing that he like puts his head into, and then it takes him to like different planets and stuff. But then he gets there and he's like, "Hi, do you wanna do my podcast with me?" And so him and this other person, whoever it is, will just be doing all this completely random stuff unrelated to anything they are talking about. They'll be talking about, I don't know, drugs, everything, like, and they're just normal podcasts that have been recorded that have just been put to like really cool animation. But the animation has absolutely nothing to do with what they're talking about, apart from like little bits where they like scream if something flies at them, have just been added in. But the animation's done by the same guy that did Adventure Time, and it's so cool. I find it so hard to watch though, because my brain and my like, it just doesn't work. Like I'm watching like all this hectic, chaotic stuff that's going on, while these two people are just having this really like calm conversation, just talking about it, just like shooting bow and arrows at zombies and shit. And it's just like, I find it so difficult for like to comprehend like what's going on, so I can't watch more than like one episode in like a sitting, because it's too much overload for my brain. But it's so interesting. Watching it with subtitles on is better, because you can actually read what's going on, while also, I don't know, I recommend it. It's so hard to explain, but I highly recommend it. It's amazing.
There's one particular episode of Rick and Morty where they go and watch, I think it's interdimensional TV.
Yeah, I watched that one literally yesterday.
The real fake doors.
Yeah.
And that I think that was really funny for me, because it was clearly improvised, and then they've added the animation after, so it's kind of making up, you go along the real fake doors, and it's kind of just this bizarre thing that goes on, and then they've just had to generate the bizarre visual to match the weird shit that comes out your brain.
That's so funny how you say that, because I literally was watching that episode yesterday. That's so weird. That's weird to me.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
That's mad. I literally only just started watching Rick and Morty like a week ago. I don't know how I never watched it before.
Dude.
I don't know why I never got into it before, but I literally started watching it with my little brother. I probably shouldn't have, but I did.
How old's your brother?
11.
He's probably old enough, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think so. I feel like if my parents knew I was watching it with him, they'd be.
It's
like,
probably a 12. It's probably a 12, isn't it? I don't think. Does it swear much? It does swear.
I think it's
a
15 on Netflix. I think.
Oh, okay. Fair.
But
yeah.
I don't know. He likes it. I watch it with him. He's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing GTA, Vice City at age 12 or younger, or watching my brother do it and then playing it myself.
Yeah.
And
my brother's like so not into like video games like at all. Well, he is, but not really. He's more into like painting.
That's cool.
Is that weird?
He should be more into video games at his age. Stop being so bloody creative.
Yeah, stop being so creative. Just play a video game, for God's sake.
Come on, son.
Yeah. But yeah.
Cool. I feel like we've covered some good ground.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been random, but it's been good. I feel like I change topic very easily. I'm just kind of like... Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, that's good. I think we've covered... I had 4 things written down here, and we've covered all of them without even me having to steer in anywhere. You did it yourself.
Oh, cool.
So
it's fun. I like doing that.
It's worked out very well.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, cool. That's really fun. It's really... You know what? I feel like I feel more relaxed doing this than I do like having a normal conversation with someone. So, that was Tabi. Thank you for listening. I'm now going to show you a little snippet of the track that we wrote together called Second Best.
If you could be yourself, just